What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTP Sports, and what a very piss-poor Memorial Day baseball day, huh? What a very piss-poor performance from the Philadelphia Phillies from basically every aspect you can say. Taijuan Walker stunk, as per usual. The defense was uncharacteristic. I can't even pronounce that right. I'm not even gonna try. I'm not even gonna try. This is a terrible start, but that probably also reflects on how bad this game was. It was just very bad. It was very bad, offensively, defensively, pitching standpoint. Late in the ball game, Alec Bohm having a lot of errors in this game, very, just uncharacteristically of him. And Whit Merrifield dropping a fly ball pop up basically, and then Taijuan Walker just allowing so much damage on the base paths. I don't know why they just keep stretching him out into these games. It's just ridiculous at this point because the Phillies take a 4-3 lead in this game. Thanks to, Kyle Schwarber hitting a home run. Thanks to Edmundo Sosa continuing to swing the bat very well. They drive in some more runs, 2 outs and all of that. And yeah, you did have a chance with JT Realmuto with guys on base. He didn't come up there, but you were still up 4-3 at that point. Taijuan Walker, then he just immediately gives it up. So it's every single Taijuan Walker start, you need to score 10 runs. You just need to. And that is not sustainable. It just isn't. It's not at all with the way Taijuan Walker pitches because he just can't get guys out. He can't miss bats. And I don't know when they're going to figure it out. I vouched for it when he was coming back to the rotation that I don't think Spencer Turnbull deserved to come out of the rotation. And we're seeing the effects of Turnbull adjusting to the bullpen, and now we're seeing the effects of Taijuan Walker being in the rotation. So overall, I'm frustrated with this game. I'm not frustrated from an entire overpoint to where you overreact for the entire thing. Like I said in the previous video last night, that there was going to be ebbs and flows to a season. Right now, the Phillies look like they're finally hitting a little bit of a low point, and that was expected at some point. And it just go figure that they're just doing this right now, which we didn't expect it. But I guess we should have had some understanding because the Phillies historically really struggle at San Francisco, specifically playing in their ballpark. I think the record-wise was posted earlier today, if I'm not mistaken. So if you're combining today's loss, since 2000 on the road, the Phillies are 26-51 against the Giants in Oracle Park, AT&T Stadium, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, well, AT&T Park, what did it used to be called? I think it's called Oracle now. I think it used to be called A&T Park or whatever it was. Bottom line is the Phillies don't play well in that ballpark. It's very historically. They barely win series there. They probably lose a lot of series and they get swept a lot of times when they play in San Francisco. But this was just, everything was bad. Everything was bad. Even when you took the lead, it's just like you didn't feel comfortable because of Taijuan Walker on the mound. That was just the bottom line there. It just was. And it starts from the very get-go of the game. He has a clean first inning, which was very shocking for Taijuan Walker. And just looking at some things, Phillies had a 1-out double by JT Realmuto in the top of the first inning. He doesn't score there. Phillies are not able to drive him home. But then it starts in the bottom of the second inning with Taijuan Walker and the troubles. A leadoff walk to Chapman, Bailey singles, then Soler flies out, which manages to advance both runners to second and third because Johan Rojas was not paying attention to the infield and he tried to throw the runner out at third, which allowed the runner at first to move up to second. So that was a bit of miscommunication there from Johan Rojas. Then Yastrzemski, first pitch he sees, he doubles, it scores 2 runs, and then another single scores the 3rd run of the ball game for the Giants. Kyle Schwarber responds the very next inning with a monster 2-run shot. Makes it 3-2 San Francisco. Phillies take the lead in the top of the 4th inning after Edmundo Sosa tripled. Then he scores on a wild pitch. Whit Merrifield reaches in on an infield single. He then steals second base. Rojas then singles him home to give the Phillies the 4-3 lead. Schwarber then walks, and then both of those guys steal second and third. Rojas and Schwarber, that is. Sadly, JT Realmuto was not able to drive both those guys home. Walker has a 1-2-3 inning in the bottom of the 4th, but then he just blows up in the 5th. Bottom of the 5th inning, a leadoff infield single, and then Wade doubles, and then an error, allows a runner to score. That was an error by Alec Bohm and ties the ball game up. And then he gets the second out of the inning, but then a sacrifice, actually it was the first out of the inning, and then a sacrifice fly scores the go-ahead run. Top of the sixth inning, Phillies go down 1-2-3 once the Giants go to the bullpen. Basically, even though they went to the bullpen in the top of the fifth inning, Blake Snell was not good in this game. Bottom of the sixth inning, Taijuan Walker is still out there for some reason. An RBI double allows another run to score. It's a 6-4 ball game. And then bottom of the seventh inning, Ruiz is out there on the mound for the Phillies. Infield single happens. Chapman reaches on a throwing error by Alec Bohm, which you have a first and second with no outs. And then another error by Whit Merrifield, dropping a pop fly, loads the bases. Yastrzemski then flies out, so there's 2 outs in the inning. But then Ramos, quote-unquote, singles after another misplay by Alec Bohm, the play that should be made, and it becomes an 8-4 ball game. Just terrible, terrible defense all over the place. And then the Phillies offense, they just didn't do much the rest of the ball game, besides, those 2 innings where they did score. It was just a very ugly game. That's bottom line there. Very ugly game. It does suck that we are getting into the, the ebbs and the flows of everything now, because we've been saying this, like, we've been riding that high for so long. We're just like, and granted, I do see some people on Twitter and in the comment section starting to panic, and they're having PTSD because, oh my God, this is what the Phillies bats looked like in the playoffs. I'm so terrified right now. I do need people to calm down from that standpoint of overreacting. There's going to be bad stretches. There just is. The season is way too long to be that elite and that fantastic with the way they were playing for basically a stretch of a month and a half. That is so unrealistic to just sustain there. It wasn't going to be sustainable with the way they're playing. Now, granted, I do expect them to bounce back eventually. It's, how quickly they bounce out of these, little ruts that they get themselves in. Right now, I think they're in a little bit of a rut. Offense didn't show up in Colorado, basically, besides 1 inning in Game 2. And so far, it does look like the offense didn't show up once again in this game against San Francisco. But you do have a chance to win tomorrow in terms of the pitching matchup, because Zack Wheeler's going to be on the mound for you, and the Giants are throwing Spencer Howard out there. So you better fucking crush Spencer Howard. That is a game that you need to win. That is a game that you should win. And then you're going to have Christopher Sanchez on the mound on Wednesday, and we'll see where that goes. You need to win tomorrow. I need to see the offense pound Spencer Howard. That is bottom line. If you get dominated by Spencer Howard, your offense is just in a major rut right now. That's the bottom line. It just is. Very uncharacteristic from Alec Bohm just to, having all those errors that he did have today. It's just, I 100% that he'll bounce back. I guess he does have those games at some points during the season where he just makes a lot of mistakes over in the infield, but it was just so much in rapid succession to where it just killed you at the end of the day. And there's just, with Taijuan Walker and everything like that, it's starting to get a little old. It is. I was against Taijuan Walker returning to the rotation because I just thought, why, try to change things that isn't working, or try to change something that isn't broken with the way Spencer Turnbull was pitching. And sadly, they had to go to that case because Taijuan Walker makes the money that he makes, and he is a starting pitcher, blah, 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 blah. They thought they could put Turnbull into the bullpen and everything like that. And like I said, he's going through the ebbs and flows of transitioning into the bullpen because Turnbull doesn't really have any experience in the bullpen either. They're going to have to do something. They're definitely going to have to do something with the spot in the rotation because Taijuan Walker is not pitching like a guy that deserves to be in the rotation. He just puts his team in droughts, and he just puts his team in bad positions. I don't care that he eats innings for you, because those innings could be detrimental to you. And so far, sometimes they've been very prone to keeping Taijuan Walker in way too long during games. It just is. It's just way too long into the games. He's going way too deep into the games where he doesn't deserve to. I understand where you want to conserve your bullpen, but today you could have afforded to use a little bit of your bullpen because you have Zack Wheeler on the mound tomorrow, and he can give you 6-7 on a okay day. So I think you could have afforded to use the bullpen a little bit in this game. Let Taijuan Walker stop after the 5th inning, because when did he allow those other sets of runs to score? I believe that was the top of the 6th, the bottom of the 6th, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he allowed the 5-4 lead after the 5th. honestly, you could have argued that he should have came out of the fourth inning if, all things considered. You had the lead, the way that he was pitching, he was just allowing way too much contact, in fact, and he allows the 5-4 lead. He should have been taken out there. He should have been taken out of the 5-4 lead. That's just, you got to be better and more aware of when your pitcher just simply doesn't have it. And right now, Taijuan Walker, he just never has it. He just never has it. And you cannot trust him anytime he goes on the mound. That's why he was never used in the postseason last year, because you just can't rely on the guy. You just can't. You just can't. And that really should say something when a guy is completely useless in the playoffs, as Taijuan Walker is. Just completely did not get used at all. Did not get used in the starting rotation. Christopher Sanchez was used over him. Like, that should explain how much they feel about Taijuan Walker. That just is. And I don't know how they get rid of Taijuan Walker's contract. I don't think they'll be able to get rid of it this season. It'll probably be more of an off-season thing unless they can convince a team during the trade deadline to take it as a salary dump or something like that. If they're just trying to make a trade and they need to get rid of Taijuan Walker, I don't know. Maybe they could convince a bad team to take Taijuan Walker's contract. I don't know. I don't know, because at this point, he's just a complete detriment to your team. He just is. The Phillies gave a lead, he gave it right back. And it's just every inning he gets into some type of trouble. It's like rare when Taijuan Walker has a good outing. And he's barely had any good outings this year, which is mainly probably that first game against San Francisco. I think that was probably his best outing of the season. And that was basically it. He really hasn't been good since. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just frustrated for this game, though, because it's mainly just the same shit with Taijuan Walker and also the defensive mistakes. But in terms of the rest of the series, I think you're still in a good position just due to the pitching matchups. Your offense just needs to show up. If your offense shows up, you're in a good position to win the game. That's basically it. And Kyle Schwarber hitting the home run gives me a little bit of confidence. Hopefully he's able to find his swing now, because we are starting to get a little closer to June. That ball was absolutely hammered. And once that calendar month flips and he starts hitting those home runs, your offense just becomes a completely different beast. And yeah, that's basically it. But also in terms of someone else in the lineup, I do think it's time for Nick Castellanos just to get a break. I think it just is at this point. I think he really needs a break, because it's just another 0 for day. He strikes out again. He's back below 200. I think he just needs a day off from playing. I think that's just what he needs right now, a day off from playing. I understand that he likes to swing through the struggles. I think he just needs a day off. Everybody else in the lineup has had at least one day off this year. Nick Castellanos has not. Nick Castellanos, I believe, has played every single game. I think he needs a day off. I think he needs a day off, Rob. I think you need to do that for Nick Castellanos. And that's basically it on that standpoint. But with the way, and here's also a question for you guys. In terms of the way Edmundo Sosa is playing, because he is just swinging an electric bat right now, when Trey Turner comes back, it's going to be hard to take Edmundo out of the lineup. I think you're going to have to try to teach him the outfield. Whatever you want to decide to do, you got to teach Edmundo Sosa how to play the outfield, whether it's left field or whether it's center. He needs to learn how to play the outfield, because the rate that he's swinging the bat right now, it's too valuable not to take out of the lineup. It's too valuable to take out of the lineup with the way that he's swinging. And I think he needs to learn the outfield to be a platoon with Brandon Marsh right now, because Trey Turner comes back, and granted, Trey Turner isn't going to be 100% when he comes back, batting wise. He's going to find a way to, get through the rust and swing through the rust. But when Trey Turner eventually comes back and he does swing a good bat, and then you have Edmundo Sosa still that can play the outfield and platoon with Brandon Marsh out there and maybe a Rojas or something like that, because I think they're still more inclined to sit Marsh against lefties because his OPS is very bad against lefties. I understand trying to keep, people that want Brandon Marsh. And I was one of those guys that want Brandon Marsh to bat against lefties because I thought he deserved the chance to prove himself, and his OPS is not good against lefties. So I understand why they don't do that. I would like to see Bryson Stott more, because they're still a little bit neglecting Bryson Stott the bat against lefties. I think he's better against lefties than he is righties. His stats prove it. But it is what it is. It is what it is at this point. Like I said, I'm not I'm frustrated with this game specifically. I wasn't frustrated with the entirety of the Rockies series just because it was bound to happen at some point. You were bound to lose a series. I just don't want it to spiral into anything. That's what I'm more just trying to state right here. I don't think it's going to spiral into anything because this team has gone through, stretches where they had a game, during the stretch of the entire winning through the past month and a half, they would have a bad game where it looked really sloppy and they bounce back and they win like 2, 3, 4 in a row. So I'm not concerned on that aspect at all. It's really just, getting the offense back in shape. Getting the bats back into their confidence with the way that they were swinging, before this road trip. Just get back to that. And that's basically, if you get back to that, you're fine. Because, yeah, Ranger Suarez didn't have the best outing in Colorado. Same thing with Christopher Sanchez. Same thing with Aaron Nola. But I guess I'll just throw that to being in Colorado. But I expect Zack Wheeler to be fine. I expect Nola to be fine. I expect Ranger to be fine. I expect Sanchez, for the most part, to be fine. It's really just Taijuan Walker with the rotation that I'm concerned about at that point. Because it's just it's chaos every time Walker's out there on the mound. Seriously, you need to score 10 runs every single game he is out there on the mound. That is just not sustainable at all. And obviously, the record that Taijuan Walker had last year was not reflective of the way he was pitching. It was reflective of the way the team was playing for him. So there's just got to be something. There's got to be something. He just can't be going deep in the games. He just can't, because you had a lead and then you just instantly coughed it up. It just can't happen like that. It just can't. If you want to look at the lineup for today's game, just in terms of the way guys did, middle of the lineup didn't do really much, from Bryce Harper to Nick Castellanos. Kyle Schwarber, he went 2 for 4 with a 2-run shot. JT Realmuto extended his hitting streak. He went 1 for 4. Bryce Harper goes over 3 with a walk and a strikeout. Alec Boehm, he goes over 3 with a walk. Nick Castellanos over 4 with 2 strikeouts. Edmundo Sosa 1 for 4 with a triple. Merrifield, he went over 3 with an error / infield single or something like that. Bryson Stott came into the game. He went over 1. Pache went over 3. Brandon Marsh came into the game. He went 1 for 1. Rojas went 2 for 3 with an RBI. And Cody Clemens came into the ball game pinch hitting wise. He went 0 for 1 there. Phillies, they went 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. They left 6 runners on base. And then Taijuan Walker's stats: 6 innings, 9 hits, 5 earned runs, 6 runs total, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts on 98 pitches. Ruiz, he came into the ball game. A lot of those errors happened when he was out there. 1 inning, 2 hits allowed, 2 runs, none of those earned, no walks, 1 strikeout, and 30 pitches. I felt bad for Ruiz in that point because I think he's been pretty solid since being called up for the bullpen. So I don't blame any of that on Ruiz. The defense behind it was just terrible in that inning. Matt Strahm, he continues his scoreless streak. He allows 1 hit and strikes out 2 on 26 pitches, so his ERA continues to drop. Blake Snell for the Giants, he wasn't good either. 4 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, allowed 3 of those earned. He did strike out 7. He threw 90 pitches. The Phillies did make him pitch a lot, but the Giants bullpen basically shut it down from there. Rodriguez pitched 2 innings and struck out 1, 16 pitches, 13 strikes there. Miller, he goes an inning, 14 pitches. Walker goes a inning, walks 1, 17 pitches, and then Doval allowed a hit, but he basically closes the game out on 19 pitches there. Looking at the Giants lineup, a lot of guys had multi-hits in this game. It is what it is. It is what it is. You just got to find a way to bounce back, and that's the most important thing. I guess if you want to look at positive things here, the Braves also lost to the Washington Nationals, I believe. So they lost 8-4. So you really don't gain. You don't lose anything in the standings-wise right there. It also does suck to see with Acuna going down with the ACL injury. That's what I feared the most. And that kind of sucks because I did post a video last night talking about that, and then directly after I posted it to YouTube, the news came out about him missing the season with the ACL injury. So that just sucks. That's the second time he's done that. That's the second time that's happened to him. And that's a huge blow to a division rival where I don't like the Atlanta Braves. I don't, but I don't wish injury on any of their star players. That's what makes this rivalry really fun. It's just, 2 really good teams going at it, year after year after year. And it just sucks that, he just has to deal with that. It's just, non-contact injuries, man. Those are killer. Those are killer. As soon as he went down on those base paths, no one touched him. You knew it was bad. You knew it was bad. And that sucks to see. That really sucks to see. I know a lot of people are going to be saying, oh, the Braves won the World Series without Acuna last time, so we'll see what happens. But they looked really affected by it today. We'll see what happens there. They still got a lot of good players on their team. But that's got to suck. You lost Spencer Strider for the season, and now you lost Acuna. So that's two huge blows right there. The ace of your staff and your star player of the league. That's a lot to handle there. And we'll see how that team handles it, but it's a lot. It definitely is. So I feel bad for him. I definitely do. I know there's a lot of people that don't like Acuna out there, but this just sucks. It just does as a baseball fan, because I know he hasn't been having a good season, but he's just insanely electric. He's one of the best players in baseball, and you hate to see that to one of the top players in the league. You definitely do. It's unfortunate. It definitely is. But for the Phillies standpoint, looking at the rest of this series, 2 more games left. Tomorrow night, I believe it's at 9 o'clock or something like that. West Coast timing there. So, yeah, 9:45. So it's going to be Zack Wheeler. I do believe it's going to be Spencer Howard from what I saw on Twitter before today's game. So Zack Wheeler, we all know what he is. And then for Spencer Howard, what are his numbers on the year? Unless this is going to be like his first start of the season for the Giants. So let's see what happens there. So let's see. Geez, Spencer Howard is 27. Holy shit. That's funny. So it has not looked like he's pitched at all this season for San Francisco. What is he doing for their minor league team this year in terms of those stats? In the minor league, he is 1-2 with a 5.9 ERA. Yeah, Spencer Howard's not good. Spencer Howard is not good. Oh boy. And you're going to have Zack Wheeler tomorrow. Yeah, you need to win tomorrow's game. And then you have Christopher Sanchez on Wednesday afternoon against Kyle Harrison. He is 4-1 with a 3.9 ERA. Got to win tomorrow. And then you'll have the day off on Thursday. And then you come back home for 6 straight games against the NL Central, the Cardinals and the Milwaukee Brewers. Definitely going to be a tough stretch right there, because the Cardinals, if I'm not mistaken, have been playing a very good baseball as of late. I think they have been. Yeah, they're 7-3 in their last 10. They're 2 games now below 500. Definitely better from where they were. So we'll see how that plays out. I still don't think their pitching is that good. So we'll see how that is. Milwaukee, they are a good team. They definitely are. They're 31-22. So it's definitely going to be a tough stretch in terms of that, predicament right there. And then after those 6 games, basically you're getting into June at that point. Then you go to London. Then you have Boston and Baltimore. That'll be a tough stretch right there. Yeah, your schedule definitely does get a little tougher as you're going into the month of June and July. So yeah, maybe it's good that they're getting the rut out of them right now. Maybe it's good they're getting the rut right now before they see these good teams. Maybe that's a benefit. Because they get into those rut right now. They figure it out once the good teams show up, or the mediocre / the better teams show up, and then they play a lot better. So we'll see how it plays out. We definitely will. We do have a voicemail here on the Anytime Hotline. Might as well get to that. Now, I don't know why I clicked that, but I clicked the wrong thing to show up. I was trying to bring up the voicemails. I brought up the freaking starting soon screen. I apologize for that. But let's get to the Anytime Hotline here. Let's get to Sean. Let's see what he has to say about today's game.
So this game can be summed up pretty quickly. Offense
Really?
sucked, defense sucked, and the Phillies just don't win in that park. I mean, it's been the house of horrors ever since Cody Ross beat the crap out of Roy Halladay.
Don't remind me.
I mean, the hitting non-existent, the fielding garbage, and, I got to call out 3 players in particular. Alec Boehm, of course, one of them, but 3 guys, other than that. Taijuan Walker has to go. I mean, this guy is just pure garbage. And not only does he suck, but it's affected Spencer Turnbull. And ever since he's gone in the bullpen, he's been a different pitcher. Whit Merrifield needs to go, and I advocated for this guy before the start of the year. Total garbage. Has done absolutely nothing with this club. Finally, I'm not saying he has to go, but since Rob Thompson likes giving guys days off, isn't it time that Nick Castellanos gets one? I'm just tired of the lack of production, lack of quality at bats, but this road trip can't end soon enough. I mean, they left their good ball playing behind in Philadelphia. I fully expect a series sweep here because, again, they never win there. Luckily, I think the Braves lost, but that's the only saving grace today.
I don't think they're going to get swept here, Sean. I understand you're frustrated. I don't think they're going to get swept. There's Spencer Howard is pitching tomorrow and Zack Wheeler's on the mound. If you don't win that game, I don't know what else to say there. You should win tomorrow. You should win tomorrow, and that should line up for whatever happens in the series finale. I fully guarantee you that. But yeah, they do struggle in this ballpark. That is a given. That is 100% a given. I don't know why they struggle in this ballpark. It just is. Sometimes you just have that stadium where you just can't play in. And the Phillies do have a couple of those stadiums throughout Major League Baseball. I believe Arizona was a place that they struggled in. Go figure, they lost in the NLCS to them last year. They choked that. They struggle in San Francisco. Oh, what other ballparks do they struggle in? What other ballparks? I'm trying to think. I'm just trying to think it overall. I think it's really just those two ballparks where they really struggle in terms of like the National League. I don't know anything about the American League or anything like that, so it's just a wait and see process. But yeah, it is what it is. Bounce back tomorrow with Zack Wheeler on the bump. That's all I can say here. Well, I think I'm going to end it here, boys. My cat just woke up. She wants to get out of here, so I will end this off for you guys. So I appreciate you guys for joining. I do see you guys here in the chat. I need to end this off because my cat's going to just stare at me and make me feel guilty. I appreciate you, channel name, Renee, Academia, and then Team and Tyler. I appreciate you guys in the chat. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It does me a great deal of service. And also use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SEATGEEK. Great deal. Don't pass it up. Thanks, guys, for joining. I'll see you next time.